And if you are a student and you're thinking about purchasing your first car, AutoTrader is definitely here to help. Dustin Woods is the associate editor of autoTRADER.ca. Hello, Dustin.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Year. Well, thank you for being here. You're going to help out a lot of students here who probably have a budget.
Happy to help.
But your publication has been around for some time.
It has. So AutoTrader has been around since the 1970s, but it's been exclusively online for about 3 years now. There's a transition over the last 10, 15 years of going more and more online. So now we find that more and more people are looking up vehicles on their tablet and their smartphone, as well as their desktop. But it's been about 3 years since it's been in print.
Okay, so let's get right into it here.
Definitely.
You've got a bunch of tips, especially when it comes to budgeting.
For sure.
And buying that first car.
So it's really easy to get overwhelmed with buying a new car and get excited, but it's not the most interesting necessarily, but budget is really important. And we really suggest that people make a realistic budget. So large things like insurance or smaller things that might really add up to big things. So if you're going away to school, even the parking pass or the fuel are going to add up. And we have a helpful pricing tool available on our website as well. It scans the entire market in real time and lets you know if the vehicle you're looking at is great, good, or fair.
Because people don't think about that sometimes. They see a car, it's worth this amount, but yeah, you're right, gas, insurance, repairs.
Definitely.
All these things really add.
For sure. And so there's another functionality on our site where you can look it up based on purchase price or monthly payment. And so that's a way that people can budget as well.
Okay. Well, what about a checklist? Should you put one together and figure out what's important to you when you're looking for that special
Definitely.
car?
I think that you should look at what you're going to be using the vehicle for and where you're going to be parking it, even as an example. So are you using it just to get to class and back, or are you using it to get home on weekends? Are you on a sports team where you need gear and you're going to be transferring other students and athletes in that, and room to take your laundry home on the weekends to your parents, things like that.
Of course.
So take into account, what you're going to be using for. Are you going to be parking in a small parking garage where you maybe don't want a larger vehicle, that sort of thing.
So how do you do research then, proper research?
So, make a checklist, visit autoTRADER.ca. We have tons of tips. So we have new and used car reviews. We do comparison tests as well. So if you're starting to narrow down to look at a few different vehicles, you can start to cross-shop those vehicles and then also actually get into the vehicle and test drive them. So, I wouldn't buy a suit without trying it on first. So we recommend that people actually get in them and drive them. And so you can get a feel for that vehicle and how it drives and things that you might like or might not like.
Okay, let's get a feel for some vehicles, because you have some top picks for affordable, student-friendly vehicles.
Definitely. So we have as many as 400,000 vehicles on the site at any given time. So we feel that it could be a little bit overwhelming for people who have never purchased a car before. So we've created a bit of a short list. So the first one was the Volvo S60. Is a vehicle that is definitely, Volvo is known for safety, for active and passive safety, and they're actually really good-looking vehicles now as well, available with all-wheel drive and more efficient engines than they used to have. So that was one of our recommendations for sure.
Okay. Other recommendations?
The Honda Fit is our recommendation for a fuel-efficient vehicle. So whether you get it with a CVT transmission or a manual transmission, it's a small, great little city car that's easy to park, and there's actually a surprising amount of room inside.
Yeah, it's cute.
It is.
But size does it makes a difference when it's a smaller car like that. Like you said, fuel efficient.
Definitely, and where you're parking in that. Some people don't like parallel parking or parking in a parking garage or things like that. So it's definitely something to consider.
What about reliability? Which one would you choose?
So the Toyota Corolla consistently ranks as one of the top most reliable vehicles, and so we definitely chose that as one of our more reliable vehicles.
Okay, utility.
Utility. So the Ram has been a standalone brand for a number of years now, and we really like the things that they're doing. They're building good trucks. If you need something that's larger and more substantial, that would be our pick for that.
Okay.
And as far as just a commuter car, the Honda Civic is constantly one of our most top searched vehicles, and with good reason. It's one of the most highest selling vehicles in the country, and it's an inexpensive vehicle that doesn't feel inexpensive.
And I think a lot of students, commuter car is probably number one, because they like to come home. They like to drive back and forth to see mom and dad, right?
Consider that.
Okay. When it comes to new and used, though, what would you recommend? Because there's obviously some pros and cons to both.
There is, definitely, and both sides have merit, and we have both on the site. And so we recommend that people do the research for their own situation. So a new vehicle, people find it attractive that there are predictable monthly payments and that repairs will be covered under warranty. People really like that. From a used vehicle, there's often more choices, and you're taking advantage of somebody else paying the bulk of that initial depreciation.
When it comes to leasing and financing too, about 45 seconds left here.
Again, yeah, it really depends on your situation. Financing, you can spread out the payments over a longer period of time. You're paying for the whole vehicle, but it might be longer than some people want to keep it for. Some people might want it for 2 or 3 years. They want that latest safety features and technology, and they want to change up every few years. So visit autoTRADER.ca and read all of our tips and tricks for buying a vehicle.
At that website, how many listings would you say you have at this point?
It's over 400,000 at any given time.
400,000.
Yeah.
And of course, they're all specified to the area, so people in the Ottawa area right now.
It's geolocated, and you can choose by color, by trim, by make and model, all of that.
And is it difficult to get your listing on there?
It is not at all, and it's free.
Ooh, glad you said that. That's good. autoTRADER.ca. Dustin Woods, thank you very much for all these amazing tips.
Thank you very much for having me.
Back to school is so much fun. More daytime coming up in moments. This is Rogers Television, and I'm Dylan Black.